What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports to help give you the edge for this 6-game NBA slate. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you want to be entered into our $25 giveaway, please like, subscribe, and comment your favorite GPP play on this slate. If you guys would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.patreon.com/dgfantasy for more information. On Patreon, we give advanced cheat sheets for all DFS sports on DraftKings. These cheat sheets include updated projections, ownership, and our overall favorite plays from slate to slate. We take it a step further by teaching you how to play fantasy sports like a shark, by showing you where the best leverage spots are to put you in the best spots to take down tourneys. Also included is our private Discord chat where you get to talk over the slate with everyone, including our coaches, to help build your lineups. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this NBA 6-game slate. First, I'm going to go over some Patreon success from last night. We had a takedown, $12 to 161. This was NFL. Yes, NFL Patreon content is still going on. We had $41, TJ, turned into $859. One of the lineups went off. Thankfully, he faded John Brown. I know a lot of people took John Brown yesterday. Bad chalk. We also had another takedown. Elite always cashing, turned $100 into 255 into 85, 40 into 80, and then last but not least, we had another $1 turned into 28. Great ROI all the way around. Yesterday, I looked into the camera and I said, play the Wizards, guys. Hopefully you played the right ones because Thomas Bryant was not one of those Wizards, and we'll give you a good direction on this slate as well. We have so much injury news, pending injury news, but we also have some guys to look at now. We're going to break it all down for you guys. Join the live stream a little bit later. I believe we're going to go live around 4 o'clock since the slate starts at 6-ish. So pending all that, we will definitely give you guys some updated injury news and info a little bit later on. Let's go over the injury news, what we have right now, TJ. Obviously, Utah, Chicago, those two teams, or those two games are on the slate. So, OKC, we have Jerome Ariza out. Brooklyn, we are pending injury news on Kyrie Irving. Quite frankly, have no idea what that is. It's personal issues, apparently. Kevin Durant, yeah, I know, quotations. With Kevin Durant, he is probable, so he's expected to play. We're going to be taking a look at his price tag a little bit later. With the Knicks, we still have Burks, Gibson, Frank, Toppin out. And with Boston, I don't know if you guys are okay. TJ, you doing all right? Like, Boston is... what's going on over there? Yeah, I mean, everybody's out. Questionable.
COVID tracing.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on with them. That's one of the teams we're going to have to hone in on a little bit closer to the lock, and all the price tags are very intriguing on everybody, assuming that half of them sit. We have the Lakers with pending injury news, yet again with LeBron James and AD. With Houston, we have House out and also Thomas. San Antonio, White and Eubanks are out. Something to note is I do expect one of these guys will sit on the back-to-back, maybe possibly Aldridge, so that will be a team we're going to focus in on because they are in a pace-up spot. We saw that pace last game, or last night rather, and it wasn't an overtime win. So definitely some people could rest in that game. Last but not least, we're going to talk about Golden State. Wiggins is questionable. Anderson is out. So we have a lot of injury news already out here for the slate. Let's go ahead and dive right into the first game. We have OKC. TJ, OKC, pace down spot for Brooklyn, or pace down spot for OKC. I guess technically it's an average spot. What are your thoughts here on OKC? Do you have any interest whatsoever?
I think it's a little bit of a pace-up spot for OKC.
Yeah, okay, but 106, it's just so bad. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I know. Do I have any interest in anybody from OKC for cash? No, not as we stand right now.
Should we move
Simple
on?
as that. Yep.
Okay. With Brooklyn, the only person that I am looking at, period, right now is Kevin Durant. The reason is because all these other injuries have pushed up the price tags. We know that DraftKings updates at night, and all these price tags. Karis LeVert at $7,900 if Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant plays, way too high. Do you have any interest elsewhere?
Yeah, no, we obviously need to monitor this Kyrie situation. If he is out, we'll love KD. If Kyrie is good to go, I think the only person I would still look at would be KD.
Yeah.
But if Kyrie is out, Matt, I think it opens up some value. Obviously, Kevin Durant would most likely be a lock in cash. I'd have to take a look at LeVert at 7,900. I think that price tag might be a little too expensive with KD back, but even still, I think he'd have some potential to pay it off. So yeah, it's just monitor the Kyrie situation and go from there.
Yeah, I completely agree. Pace down spot technically, but they're still projected at 116, which isn't bad.
Right.
This game technically has blowout potential. I think it will be competitive enough to not be a blowout, but still something to keep an eye on here. And let's go ahead and switch over to the Denver game. We have Denver out with Michael Porter Jr., so that does benefit guys with high usage. Somebody like Jokic. Jokic has been on absolute fire to start the season. Has a good matchup against the Knicks. They are in a pace down spot. What are your thoughts overall on this roster?
Yeah, I think Jokic comes into play for cash. It is a really good matchup against the Knicks bigs, who rank 20th against opposing centers currently. Gonna bang down low with Julius Randle. So no Michael Porter out. It's helped Jokic's usage here a little bit, Matt. He gets a 2% usage bump with Michael Porter off the floor. He's a 1.61 fantasy point per minute and a 29% usage rate. I have him currently pegged at 57 DraftKings points. So right on par with that 11K price tag. So I think Jokic potentially could come into play. We obviously have to figure out what's going on with the rest of the slate, in Miami and Boston, Brooklyn, and so on and so forth. But I think Jokic is an interesting play. I think Barton at 5,800 is a decent option as well. But besides that, I don't really have any interest here. JaMychal Green's always somebody that I take a look at because the price tag's really cheap. It was 5K against Phillies all the way down to 4,300. But besides that, I don't really have too much interest here in Denver as of now.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Porter is gonna he's gonna affect this team as much as these other injuries on the slate. So I definitely don't have as much interest here. Keep in mind it is a pace down spot versus the Knicks. Let's go ahead and talk about the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson, $5,600 is the only guy I'm really looking at. Julius Randle's always in play, but his price tag at $9,500 is still very hard to get to. Do you have any interest here?
I do not right now. In non-cash, Julius Randle is always going to be a guy that I look at with the minutes that he's been accruing over the last or since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But at 9,500, that's a steep price tag, so I don't have any interest there in cash.
Completely agree with you. Let's move on to Miami and Boston. So
Miami.
Let's talk about the Miami side first. Jimmy Butler, $7,300 was $7,400 last night versus the Washington Wizards. We saw what he did with that price tag. Absolutely unbelievable, but I think he also benefited from Adebayo going out early. Unfortunately for you, TJ, sorry to burn you on that. $7,300, 5.6 point per dollar value right now. He was the same price tag 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago against the Boston Celtics. He did pretty well with it. Are you going back to the well here with Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, he's really cheap. I love how you have to bring up that Bam thing. Thanks, man. I try to get different in one tournament, and I get smoked by it. So thanks, Bam, for picking up 4 fouls in the first 7 minutes in the first half. Yeah. Ass hat. No, Jimmy's way too cheap. He's paid off his price tag easily over those last 2 games. We saw what he just did against Boston in 33 minutes when he was 7,300 only 4 days ago. And Boston's they're not banged up, but they're COVID ridden right now. So yeah, if I'm looking anywhere, it's going to be Jimmy Butler, Matt. I have him rated right now highest of the Miami Heat. He's a 1.24 fantasy point per minute this year. Second highest usage rate with a 26.1, only behind Dragic off the bench. I have him rated for 40 DraftKings points right now, which pays off that 7,300 price tag. So yes, if I'm going anywhere, it is going to be Jimmy Butler for cash.
TJ Adebayo's in a good matchup. Are you playing him?
Yeah.
All right. Well, just one more time. Sorry, I had to get that out. All right.
Imagine picking up 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes, coming in to start the second quarter, picking up your third foul in a minute and a half, and then Spoelstra trusting you with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left to go back in the first half, and you pick up a 4th foul, and then a 5th 5 minutes into the third quarter. Whoa. Well, what was that?
I will say this about Adebayo. He is well rested for this game, so he only played 21 minutes last night. So fresh legs for Adebayo.
Season low.
Yeah.
Season low.
Thanks, man. I think everybody.
Hey, that's on me though, Matt. That's bad. Bad roster construction. We talked about how much we
always
love
talk
Jimmy,
about this.
And I mean, I didn't put myself in a situation where I was landing on Bam as the last spot, and I liked the upside against Washington. We knew Jimmy was the better play, but for some reason, my stubbornness wanted a low-owned guy, and it burnt me.
Well, you won't have stubbornness tonight. You're going to be playing Jimmy Butler, right? You need to lock him in now so you don't get stubborn.
Yes.
All right, so I think everybody else becomes a GPP option on this roster. I think everybody's really high priced. Like Goran Dragic is $5,800. Duncan Robinson $5,100. Hero $6,400.
Yeah.
Everybody but Jimmy Butler. Yeah, everybody but Jimmy Butler got a price increase. I think Jimmy Butler is going to be $8K the next time we see him on the slate.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's move on to Boston. Do you want to talk about them, or I guess we can talk about what ifs?
Yeah, so we already know that Tatum is doubtful because of the whole Bradley Beal COVID situation that we had going on in Washington. Tristan Thompson's out. Kemba's obviously been out. Robert Williams, Grant Williams, both out. Javonte Green and Semi are both questionable, and as is Jaylen Brown. So if Tatum is going to sit, I'm going to lock in Jaylen Brown at 9,100 in cash. Haven't run the numbers to see what the Celtics situation is with Tatum off the floor because the Celtics are a mess. So if you were to take off, hypothetically, Tatum, Tristan Thompson, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, you wouldn't get a sample size. So I'll have to do some digging into last year's stats as well. But I know I'm going to like JB if Tatum is out at 9,100. I mean, I think Smart comes into play at 7,200. I would assume Pritchard would start at point guard. They would probably put Smart at the 2, Jalen at the 3. Tice would have to play center. I don't know who they would start at the 4. Semi, if Semi is okay. But we're pending him with COVID. Or health and safety protocols is what the NBA is calling it. So, yeah, Matt, the Celtics are a mess. We're just going to have to, monitor the situation throughout the day and kind of go from there. But if Tatum is out, that's, 34% usage that goes, to the rest of this roster. And the one guy that I'd be looking at is going to be Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I think I would have definitely made Jaylen Brown the thumbnail for this video if I knew he was playing. The only thing is we don't know for a fact if he's playing. If he is playing, he's going to be an absolute lock. I mean, $9,100. He's hit 50 points in his past 2 games, and that's playing with Tatum. So for what it's worth, I mean, Jaylen Brown can easily cover that price tag, especially given all the usage, coming from all these other players. But 100% agree with everything you just said. I'm not going to repeat it. What's up?
I was just going to say, we have to keep an eye on it. If they get below the minimum of 8 available guys, like we could see this game get postponed.
Yeah, definitely.
So make sure you're monitoring this, guys. And it does tip at 7, which is unfortunate. I wish it was at 6, but just make sure you're paying attention to this Heat Celtics game.
We should know pretty early on, though. I think we should anyway. Could go down to a 5-game slate. Let's talk about the Lakers and Houston Rockets right now. We have AD, $9,700. I test passed there. I really do like his price tag. However, we never know his status. Right now, he's questionable. Do you have any interest on any one of these other Lakers here, TJ?
No, not in cash. Not without one of LeBron or AD sitting. The AD price tag is very cheap at 9,700. Yep. Could see an up pace type matchup against Houston. So I would like LeBron and AD in tournaments, but I don't have any interest here in cash.
Completely agree. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's go to Houston. I don't think we should waste time here either. I don't see anything popping out. David Nwaba technically playing 25 minutes shows a really good point per dollar value, 6.1, at least on Fantasy Cruncher. $3,500 could make for an interesting last value piece. However, you guys know I usually don't like playing anybody over 30 minutes for value plays. TJ, do you have any interest in any one of these guys on this roster for cash?
I do not. It's weird seeing James Harden's usage
go down.
Yeah, so with Daniel House off the floor, he only has most minutes on the team in terms of sample size too. He only has a 28.3% usage rate. It's because you got Christian Wood and you got John Wall. Christian Wood, 28% usage rate, and John Wall, 26% usage rate. So as long as those 3 guys are healthy, Matt, and those price tags are that high, or a price tag for James Harden, like I'm not going to have any interest in Houston going forward.
Agree with you,
unless anybody's out.
Yeah, completely agree with you. And the only guys that are benefiting from the minutes of McLemore and Daniel House being out, guys like David Nwaba, there's not really too much to look at here. So, I completely agree with you. Let's move on from Houston to my Spurs. Spurs, a lot more interesting of a picture here just because of these price tags. Specifically with DeJounte Murray at $6,800. Went down. I don't get it after last night. And then also with DeMar DeRozan going down $100, $7,700. We saw what he can do. I think he will be fairly chalky, I think, regardless, just based on what he did last night. I know it was an OT game, but also we have to keep an eye on Aldridge or some of these other vets here on this team. Possibly DeRozan. I have no idea. They could possibly sit one of these guys, but something to pay attention to here. TJ, do you have any interest in the Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, another fantastic spot against Minnesota. We saw that game shootout last night. Again, an overtime game as well, Matt. So a lot of guys did benefit from that. And these prices are preset coming into nighttime, I guess is the way I would put it. So, they didn't have a chance to kind of up these price tags in a back-to-back against Minnesota. So we do have to keep an eye on Aldridge. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody goes, on the injury report here from the Spurs. Aldridge would be the guy that I would assume would pop up, potentially sitting on the back-to-back. So yeah, if he's out, DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, fire him up. But I think DeRozan's going to carry some ownership, and DeJounte Murray is going to carry some ownership, even if Aldridge plays. So I'll have some interest here. Fantastic matchup against Minnesota.
It is the
and
highest over under too. So
right, and if Cat plays again on a back-to-back, again, another guy wouldn't be surprised ends up on the injury report. Maybe they sit him after coming back, but it just makes it all that more competitive throwing him into the mix. So.
Speaking of Cat and these Timberwolves, I mean, all these guys haven't come down in price tag yet. Do you have any interest? I mean, D'Lo's all the way up here at $8,200. They seem like just tournament plays to me. Do you agree?
Yeah. Malik Beasley interests me at 6,100. I don't have too much interest in D'Lo with Cat back. But yeah, I mean, if Cat's gonna play again, man, he played 37 minutes last night.
He was on a minute limit too. So it's like, what is that?
So that's why I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up on the injury report, and they potentially give him some rest after the after last night's OT game. But if he's in, I don't hate him at $9,800.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we have to monitor the minute restriction. But yeah, I think Malik Beasley is the only guy that really stands out to me besides Cat at 6,100. I would have some interest in him, but besides that, no.
Yeah, we haven't gotten the chance to play Cat yet this season. He's just been has so many injuries, and we love playing Cat. He's one of those safer plays just because he's always very efficient when he's on the floor.
Definitely.
All right, let's move on. Last but not least, to the Raptors and Golden State. Not too much to talk about here. We have Siakam at $7,800, Anunoby at $57, Lowry $8,300, VanVleet $8,500. All these price tags are very hard to get to. I know one of these guys can't have a ceiling game because of the pace of this game. It's the second highest over/under on the slate. Just tournament plays, TJ.
Yeah, most likely just tournament plays, Matt. I guess if I had to choose one, Siakam's probably the most intriguing because he is the cheapest. Chips is bashing his ball up against the wall. Yeah, I mean, dude, Chris Boucher was absolutely amazing against Sacramento last game. If they're going to continue to give him minutes, I mean, yeah, he's 5,900, but I think he'd be a really intriguing tournament play. There was something going on with Baines and Alex Len. I don't really know what the situation was, but Len started and only played 5 minutes, and then Baines was a healthy scratch, I believe. I don't really know what happened there. I wasn't monitoring too closely, but yeah, I think Siakam would be my play at 7,800 just because he's so much cheaper than VanVleet and Lowry. Good matchup against Golden State, so I think this would be a good tournament game to go to.
I don't know if you saw this, TJ, but there a couple nights ago when I actually stacked Toronto, there was a guy in a contest. It was one of the bigger buy-in contests. He started Alex Len, and he had 0 points, and the guy still got first place.
Yes, I saw that.
See that? It's insane.
330 still. Yeah, imagine starting Len and just being like, "Oh, I'm toast."
Yeah,
and then winning, and taking down. You're just like, okay.
Every single other piece did absolutely insane. They went off, but yeah, it was just funny to see. So that's what I'll think about whenever I see Alex Len going forward. If I play Alex Len, I'll win the 300,000 or however much you won. All right, let's move on to Golden State. We joked about this before the video, TJ. Draymond Green's $4,900. I know he's not the old Draymond Green, playing 31 minutes. Do you have any interest, especially with Andrew Wiggins potentially out here for Golden State?
Well, yeah, if Wiggins is out, then sure, that opens up some value for guys like Kelly Oubre, Pascal, Draymond Green. Definitely, that makes sense. But if Wiggins is healthy and plays tonight, like, I don't think I have interest in Draymond Green and his 11% usage rate so far in his 5 games he's played. I just don't think he's the same triple-double guy from 3 years ago, unfortunately, just in terms of the way he's involved in the offense with Wiggins and Oubre around. So
for sure,
I don't really have any interest, but who knows? Who knows, what happens throughout the day. Steph at 10-1, man.
Still,
he's in a competitive game. Is just lights out.
I was just about to say that. It's so hit or miss with him because we never know the status of the Golden State Warriors if they're going to actually play competitively. And when they do, you can almost assume that he's going to get 50+ points. It's just it's lights out for Steph Curry this year. But yeah, I think that will cover the entire video, guys. There's not too much to talk about. This could potentially be a 5-game slate come the time of the live stream, so be sure to tune into the live stream. If you guys did enjoy this video, please do hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future NBA content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.
See you guys.